All right, let's talk about Indonesia. It's one of the most exciting, fast-growing economies on the planet. But right now, it's standing at a huge fork in the road. On one path, you've got this incredibly detailed long-term master plan. And on the other, a bunch of massive, brand-new programs that are going to cost a ton of money starting right now. Today, we're going to unpack this clash of visions.
So here's the thing about Indonesia's new economic strategy. It's kind of a paradox. You've got this super carefully crafted blueprint for the next 20 years, side by side with a few flagship programs so big they could totally reshape the country's entire budget.
And this gets us to the big question, right? How do you actually build an economic superpower? Do you follow a super detailed, technocratic map that lays out every single step? Or do you take a massive shortcut, betting big on a few core ideas that you think will change everything, fast? Well, Indonesia is about to run that exact experiment for us, in real time.
First up, let's look at the official map. This is the Golden Indonesia 2045 plan. It's the formal 20-year strategy put together by the country's top economic thinkers. And it's designed to answer that one crucial question. How does a country like Indonesia break out of that dreaded middle-income trap and really join the club of the world's richest economies?
Now, keep that big, complex plan in your head for a second. And now look at this number. $20 billion. That's how much they think it's going to cost every single year for just one of the new president's big ideas, giving free school meals to millions and millions of kids. It's a huge political promise with an absolutely staggering price tag.
And that's the real tension here, isn't it? You have the grand, detailed vision on one side, and a simple, powerful, and very direct political promise on the other. So the question we're digging into is this new approach a brilliant shortcut to get to the same goals faster? Or is it a really risky and expensive detour from a path that we know works?
To really get what's at stake, we gotta pop the hood on that official blueprint first. What exactly is this Golden 2045 plan trying to achieve? Yeah, it's got a formal name, the RPJPN, but what it's really about is transforming Indonesia into a country that's not just rich, but also inclusive, competitive, and green. This whole thing is the official roadmap to solve a problem that keeps a lot of developing countries up at night, that middle-income trap. When a country's growth just stalls out and it never quite makes it to high-income status.
Now, what's really interesting is how this whole plan is structured. It's not just about money. It's built on these three massive pillars of transformation. You've got a social one, focusing on people, health, education, an economic one, all about upgrading industries and building modern infrastructure, and a governance one, aimed at making the government itself just better, more efficient and ready for what's coming.
And you can see where this is all heading. We're not talking about small tweaks here. This is a complete pivot from an economy that relies on selling natural resources to one that's based on advanced industries. The plan is calling for industrial upgrading, a green energy transition, huge investments in people, and a full-on digital transformation. This is what success is supposed to look like.
But the new administration, they're taking a different path, a much more direct route. Instead of focusing on this whole massive, decades-long plan, they're pushing their agenda through three huge, high-profile flagship programs.
And there's a real political logic to this. Our source material calls these programs strategic workarounds. Think of them as a way to just blast through the usual red tape. They're designed to be fast-track vehicles that can bypass slow government planning, fragmented budgets, and all that institutional inertia that can grind good ideas to a halt. It's a political solution to a very structural problem.
Okay, so the first and the one everyone's talking about is the free nutritious meals program. With a budget that's going to balloon to around $20 billion a year by 2026, it's aimed at tackling a huge, long-term economic problem, childhood stunting, which really holds back productivity for generations. The second big idea is something called Danantara, a new state investment agency. And whoa, if you want to understand the scale of what they're trying to do, this is it. Think of it like a giant, state-run investment fund. The idea is to take all of Indonesia's government-owned companies, which are worth about $1 trillion, and start running them like professional, modern corporations. The goal is to unlock all that massive value and pump it into the strategic industries that will drive growth.
And the third big bet is all about the grassroots. We're talking almost $5 billion budgeted for 2026, just to set up over 80,000 of these red and white village cooperatives. The idea is to get basic goods and financial services directly to people in rural communities.
Okay, so let's zoom out and look at the whole picture. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got a social program for human capital, a massive investment vehicle for industrial capital,
and a grassroots network to build up local economies. These are three very, very big bets.
So this is where it gets really interesting. How does this strategy look when you compare it to what's going on in the rest of Asia? Because when you put Indonesia's new path next to its neighbors, it looks totally different.
Just look at this comparison. It's night and day. While Indonesia is betting big on foundational, bottom-up stuff like nutrition and local co-ops, its regional competitors are all in on something else entirely. They're focused top-down on high-tech dominance, attracting huge foreign investment and building out these sophisticated hubs for things like semiconductors.
I mean, think about it. China is pouring state money into becoming a leader in AI and space tech. Vietnam, they are rolling out the red carpet for tech giants like NVIDIA and Samsung. And Malaysia has a laser-focused goal to become the #1 semiconductor hub in all of Southeast Asia. It's just a completely different playbook.
Which brings us right back to the central conflict. The incredibly detailed long-term plan versus these powerful, focused, and immediate flagship programs.
And that leads us to the, well, trillion-dollar question, doesn't it? Can these new programs, focused on school lunches, state-owned companies, and village co-ops, actually get you to that sophisticated, high-tech, green future that was laid out in the original Golden 2045 blueprint? Are these just two different paths to the exact same destination?
I mean, you can see the upside, right? The potential reward here is massive. If they pull it off, these programs could seriously boost national productivity by fixing basic problems, channel a ton of capital where it's needed, and build a stronger domestic economy. But the risks? Oh, they are just as big. This huge spending could easily crowd out everything else, from new roads to the green transition, and it all depends on good, clean, transparent governance, which is always a huge challenge.
So, in the end, this all boils down to one simple thing. It's not about which idea is better on paper, or which plan looks better on a PowerPoint slide. It's all about execution.
And this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. Ultimately, Indonesia's success will depend less on producing plans than on executing positively impactful programs. At the end of the day, a beautiful plan that just sits on a shelf is worthless.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is what we're seeing in Indonesia a genius, pragmatic shortcut to becoming an economic superpower by fixing foundational problems that everyone else overlooks? Or is it a really high-stakes detour, one that risks abandoning that more proven, tech-focused road to development that all its neighbors are racing down? The answer is going to shape the future of Southeast Asia for decades.